Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. AOC calls out NYPD's use of robotic dog drones to police her district, and people are applauding. With billions of dollars in its coffers, the New York City Police Department enjoys one of the highest police budgets of any city in the U.S., even after landmark uprisings against racist policing systems last year pressured drastic cuts to the police budget. The NYPD still receives the third highest funding of any agency in the city. New Yorkers got a glimpse this week into how that money is being used when a video surfaced of DigiDog, a 70-pound surveillance robot designed to send live footage to human officers in high-pressure situations. While its defenders say the bot will help protect the city's police in dangerous situations, New Yorkers are largely condemning the bot as a dangerous trend toward further militarizing of police in the Big Apple, former home of the racist stop and frisk policy that overwhelmingly targeted innocent people of color. Among those criticizing the technology was Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Democratic representative out of New York, a strong proponent of reallocating greater portions of police resources into public goods like education and healthcare. Shout out to everyone who fought against community advocates who demanded these resources go to investments like school counseling instead. Now, robotic surveillance ground drones are being deployed for testing on low income communities of color with under resourced schools. Please ask yourself, when was the last time you saw next generation world class technology for education, healthcare, housing, etc., consistently prioritized for undeserved communities like this? The Congresswoman called on her followers to ask themselves when they last saw subsidized state of the art technology go towards resources for residents in underserviced communities instead of overwhelmingly toward the police who disproportionately surveil them. Goodbye Blue Monday. This is at Hello, I am Caden. And if you want to see Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, this is on Twitter, and it's at her Twitter account, which is capital A, capital O, capital C. When my mom was teaching sixth grade, she spent hundreds of dollars out of pocket for classroom supplies. The police get this handed to them. And man, and then here's another one, sociology stand at sociology stand on Twitter. And this one says, at AOC makes a very compelling point on the priorities for what funding and resources go to. Education should be our top priority. Hashtag MCSOC. Another one, Brian Cron, which is at Brian Cron, which is BRIANKROHN. Field testing military grade hardware in inner city neighborhoods. Probably could buy computers for an entire school for the cost of one of these. Brittany Ramos de Barros at Brit, which is BRITTDEBARROS. I was on a community call with last night about facial recognition tech our DA purchased, and now this. So infuriating and scary. Investing in schools and healthcare and job protections, etc., is investing in safer communities. Hashtag care not criminalization. Black Lives Still Matter. This is at MANICXMELI. Ah, yes, I too woke up this morning and felt the burning desire to spend copious amounts of cash we pulled out of our ass on new tech surveillance POC. Thanks, racially based capitalism. Now that's a lot of Despite the $75,000 robot dog cop, the culprits involved in the home invasion were gone before authorities arrived. Having stolen $2,000 in a cell phone, the men held two people hostage before one of the hostages managed to escape and alert police. The second hostage, a 35-year-old man, was gone as well. While the bot is still in its testing phase, it's unclear how broad its usage will be if fully adopted by the NYPD. So, basically, so all this money, right? And this is what I was talking about with the Mars thing. When they were talking about, oh well, we're going to Mars. Like, where's all this money into the community? This is why we have a lot of crime, because you've taken the money that you could put into these neighborhoods. You've taken their outlets like basketball, going to play hoops, going to be productive, putting this in education, actually teaching the kids. And this is why I was telling this idiot who was on my live that public schools are worse than charter schools, and they are. Public schools, they they go by the basic curriculum. They don't teach your kids anything. This isn't like charter schools. You can learn a trade, you can learn anything. They control the curriculum and what is being taught and what to grade you on. Now, this money going into this little bot, and you can find this online. Look it up. It's a service bot, like a mini dog bot, basically watching crime 24/7, and it's gonna send something to the police so they could come and basically make their job easier. I did a video, I think last year, on the technology they were using, which was to monitor people in certain cities using certain places, and it basically was a thing that spread like out, like it was way out there. And it basically, what it does is it counts where crime is, and it'll leave something there like a dot to let you know, okay, crime is happening here, crime is happening there. So majority of their arrests came from there, and sometimes that was bad because sometimes a person wasn't committing a crime and it was messing with them. So if we look at this situation, all this money they're putting into a technology to just continue to lock people up, which are black people and minorities, that's all it's being used for. How come these bots aren't put in the suburbs? Are they going to be in the suburbs? Are they going to be in the rich neighborhoods of America where we're not allowed in? The gated communities? No, they're not, because the police don't see them as threats because they feel they got money. So they'll just go to the poor areas again instead of getting money to put into programs to clean people up from doing drugs or to clean people up from going to jail, like actually letting them have a chance to have a job when they get out. You guys have not done that. Y'all taking jobs away, and y'all continue to bleed the schools until there's no more funding for the schools, and then they have to shut down. And you have kids traveling way out just to get education, and you know some kids can't go that far out because their parents don't have the money or funds to take them out there. This is bullcrap. And somebody has to step up and talk about this. This is why I keep telling people we need to create our own voice. We need to have the voice of the people. F these celebrities, F these athletes, F these entertainers, F these stars, because they're not going to do anything at the end of the day to help you and your community. We've got to stop looking up to these people on TV when they ain't nothing. Like the Steve Harveys, the Oprahs, the Denzels, all of these people. F them. F the Brad Pitts and the Angelina Jolies and the Tom Hanks. F all of those people. We have a voice and we have power too. We just have to put it to use. But we're so afraid to go against the grain. It's like, oh man, I don't want to lose this money or sacrifice. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're going to be an activist and sacrifice. And we're not doing that. Me, I never claimed to be an activist. I have to go to work. I need to make my money because I take care of my mother. She is elderly. She's retired. She does not work, and she's not going to work. She's in her 70s and she is breaking down, and she's a widow. So she's not. I have to sacrifice in making sure she's straight. But I can take leaves of absence. I could take option days. I could take vacations off. That's up if y'all want to do something. Like if y'all want to do something, I'm down to work and help. But I'm not going to do it just to do it. We need to fight for reparations and we need to fight for order. We need to fight for our communities. That's all over, not just in the community you live in, but the community all over. We need to help each other all over. All the hoods and all the poorish areas, whether you white, black, Spanish, or Asian, need to come together and be productive and try to make change. But you guys don't want to do it. Why? Because it's work. You won't have to complain no more. See, that's all we love to do is complain and talk about stuff instead of being about it. And that's the one thing I have a problem with a lot of these people who are fake activists or fake people in general. You don't have to be an activist to make a change in the world. You could be somebody who's not doing all of that. There was guys in the civil rights movement back in the day who chilled behind the scenes because they didn't have the temperament to deal with that. They would have killed a white dude if they spit on them. And then they would have ended up messing it up. It would have put them back years. So that's why they trained these guys. That's why they taught these guys. That's why they ran simulations to get them prepared for it. It's like you're playing football or basketball, getting you prepared for life. School, we need education to get kids get prepared for life. To teach them that there's other stuff. Like teach them what's going on. And another problem is that we're not teaching our history to our kids or to our people. And that also is a big step, that is a big piece, that is the reason why we're not progressing, because a lot of these kids, they don't see any heroes. They see the white guy and they're like, oh, they're the heroes and we ain't nothing but ingrates. So we have to get our priorities straight. But this is a BS. The New York Police Department continues to show their idiocy, and they continue to show their non-empathetic ways. All this money that you guys are putting into this budget, y'all need to put into the neighborhoods and clean it up. If you actually cleaned the neighborhoods up, the U.S. would be a better running country. Things will be fine. You won't have to worry about a lot of crime. And that's why they're not doing it. Because you know why? Crime pays. They need the jails open. So that's why they're taking away a lot of stuff, especially in the black community, because they need your black ass in jail. They need you there so they can make their money, because it's a lot of money in the prison systems and the jail systems. And that is why this is called Americant, because they won't do it and they won't change. They want us to still be divided, and they want blacks to still be poor and going to jail and under their thumb. Thank you for listening. We're out. Deezy.